Get off my lawn.
And we're back. We've had a very interesting set of conversations. But let's try to return to characters here. Where we are
Bitchy attitude.
as the three of you decide to leave. That's not hard for you to get back into.
Cool
I know,
party
it's
leader.
not.
Cool party leader.
Wannabe.
So, I was, so we are leaving now?
You don't necessarily have to be, but I think Sterling, you're mostly wrapped up with Sterling unless there was any further stuff you wanted to talk to or you wanted him to go get Ego.
I was trying to think before the break. There was something that I was wanting to talk to Ego about, but I don't remember. We can just go ahead and leave, I guess.
Okay. So the three of you head out. With this new information, is there anything specific that the three of you want to do?
I don't know, man. This investigation is freaking stumping me. Elizabeth's like, I have no fucking idea what's going on.
Maybe take the ghoul run approach.
No.
Can we B&E somebody?
Who would we
Specifically,
even
Nico.
B&E? Right? Like, I
Keep
don't even
breaking
know
into his house.
getting out of going back into Nico's house of all places. Like,
I mean, Nico wouldn't mind seeing at least one of you again.
oh my
That
lord.
was-
Elizabeth?
Yeah. That-
No, there's some
That was
other
my
people who'd be
Telling
happy to
secrets
see
about
Elizabeth again.
tunnels.
yeah.
I can think
the
of six.
The goblins would be happy to see Elizabeth, and Nico would love to see Brianna. I know. That was before we go. I wanted to ask Ego if he knew, or if he had heard of Nico, or had any idea of who, since he's in the industry, who might have installed that door.
Nico. Poor gentleman lives west of the bridge.
Yes.
Yes. Nico was a customer I took care of some time ago, not long after I got out of the dungeons. I did some work for him.
I see. Okay, so you were the one that was helping him with his security.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What I put in was probably very good. I imagine it's done quite well over the years.
Until recently, yes.
What?
Well, that's partly why we got involved, is because he was recently burglarized and the money that he had hidden stolen.
That's very sad to hear.
Yes, it is. So that's kind of, why we've been kind of asking, because he didn't actually remember you per se. He just remembered that it was a goblin that had installed the door.
Well, a lot of us look alike, so...
I didn't get the sense that he was meaning that in any...
No, he was a very good gentleman. Very
Yes,
nice
yes.
guy overall. Didn't ask a lot of questions, just knew what it was like, knew what the life was like. You don't end up in that kind of place without having been through a hard life.
All right. Well, I don't know if it's material to our investigation, but I'd been kind of trying to figure out, who had installed the door, and we don't have a whole lot to go on, unfortunately.
Well, that's very sad to hear. It would be very useful if you had something to go on. My client is very disappointed, especially the way the ministry works. But I mean, I'm sure that the Taran will do a good job.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome, I guess. Whatever.
He will do a job.
Better job than you will.
Wow. That's hurtful.
And factual.
Are you certain of that?
You seem like you're having a bad day, and I understand why, but
Every day.
perhaps before we go, could I sing you a song? let me do my diplomacy check.
Sure. You can sing me a song. It was miserable.
Alright, so...
Okay.
So, she's basically just singing about, crime and punishment, things of that nature. Trying to gauge his reaction to her song.
Your song does seem to be making him uncomfortable. It's a little hard to identify why, but there's definitely a lot of discomfort in him from your song.
Okay.
I don't understand the subtext.
Basically, out of character, my singing counts as sense motive, and so I'm like trying to see what I get from him if I start directly singing about,
Right.
break-ins. Like
I think Ryan knew what you were doing. Ryan is in character, acting as though he doesn't understand. And Elizabeth is probably even more confused, like, why is she singing? Why is he getting annoyed by her singing?
God damn it, more singing. Why is this happening? Are you trying to, hit on these guys now? Like, what are you doing, Brianna?
It's like some sort of Pokemon. Gotta catch them all.
Pokemon.
STDs.
What was that? I have an idea of how ritzy it is for his services as far as
It's a pretty high end thing. It's not going to be cheap to have him come out and run all these tests.
Okay, so he basically only delves in or works with higher end clients.
Yeah, almost all of his clients are either businesses or very high end individuals.
Okay. I was gonna, offer to have him have somebody come out to check my room, wherever it is I'm staying at.
I mean, he would be happy to do it if you can afford to pay for it. It's going to depend on what level of security you think you'd be interested in, and if so, are you able to pay the advance fee? But his starting thing is 1,000 gold.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I didn't want to ask him and then just have him be insulted that I even wasted his time asking.
I mean, he's going to be regardless. So
yeah, so I didn't want to bring it up if it was something that I could ascertain was going to be out of my price range. To check my security measures. So that's kind of a compensation thing, but handing him gold seems a little weird.
Okay.
So.
All right. So you guys have the rest of the afternoon.
All right.
It's not even like the third sunrise, or not. It's not even really the second sunrise at this point. That's probably about second sunrise, actually, at this point.
Would it be close to lunchtime, or
a little early for lunch? But you're closing in on it. Usually people eat at about second sun center, a little before third sunrise. I need to get you guys a copy of the calendar, but I really haven't, or not the calendar, but the clock. But I really haven't. Every time I do it, I'm not happy with how it looks, and I keep redoing it and redoing it and redoing it. I have one edition that I did back in 2006 or something like that, and I was looking at it and I was like, I still hate that I'm not where I want to be with this. But essentially, the world is divided into 30 hours instead of 24 hours, with 3 sunrises, and they overlap on each other. In a very specific pattern, and then night is roughly 10 hours. And there's not a lot of variation in that. The clock is kind of set steadily. There aren't stars in the sky. There are simply the suns and the moon. The moon reflects the light from the sun, just like from two of the suns, similar to how our own moon works. And there is a slight disorientation. The moon kind of zigzags just slightly back and forth throughout the sky, and a month is determined by when the moon returns after completing its full zigzag through the sky pattern.
I was just going to suggest maybe we get lunch on our way back to the ministry or something.
Okay. Sure thing.
Sure.
I know it's a little early, but be nice to eat somewhere before we head back, maybe?
Yep.
Discuss what we found.
You three can enjoy lunch together. Hopefully.
Alright.
Or fight with each other about how Elizabeth seems to think that Brianna is trying to sleep with every NPC.
So that was an interesting encounter there with the security company. I got the sense that Eco wasn't very comfortable with my song. He seemed a little annoyed.
With his criminal background, I could see why he would be. He might not take that in the best way. I don't know how he feels about that time of his life, but he seems to have mostly moved past it now.
I just wonder, I mean, maybe it's because he has beef with Taron, but it just seemed like that he was very what's the word? You know how sometimes criminals will fake outrage or get mad so that you back off and you don't suspect that they're doing something wrong?
Yes, deflecting.
Yes. That's the word.
Yes, they do that. They exaggerate
You have
it.
wine and liquor.
I made a
themselves
margarita.
look far more suspicious in the process.
And used a wine glass.
Yes, because I am fancy.
He's a classy
So you put
bitch.
your alcohol in for your business.
That's great. I'm fancy.
Thank you.
What was your impression of it, Elizabeth?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like everyone wants to sleep with each other. I'm so confused on what's happening.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But you don't think it's a little bit of conflict of interest if you sleep with everyone we come across?
You would be surprised what you can find out with Pillow Talk.
Oh, perhaps you could get information from the goblins.
What information do you think we're gonna get from them?
They seem to see a lot of the things that are happening around that area, around Nico's house specifically. They seem to be in that area quite frequently, considering how little we actually visit.
Yeah. I'm not Brianna.
Oh, I wasn't suggesting you. I assumed that. Do you not enjoy sleeping with people? Is that not what you were?
Not goblins.
No, not you.
No, he was talking about me.
yes.
But they weren't interested in me.
Well,
I mean,
they haven't met you.
we know for sure they're not interested in Ghoulron.
This is true.
They were interested in him for all the wrong reasons.
They were
Yeah.
interested in things he had, things he owned.
I tried to get the group that wanted to climb me to go bug him, but they didn't seem to feel too intrigued by that.
Climb you? That doesn't seem like a beneficial exercise.
She's a mountain of a lady to them.
Oh my lord. I just think of what's her butt from Game of Thrones?
Brianna Tarth.
Brianna Tarth.
Yeah, Brienne. That's just what I think of. They're like, climb the big lady. She just keeps popping into my brain.
I don't know. Perhaps the goblins know more than they're letting on. Perhaps I should flirt with them. See where that leads.
Go for it.
It is possible that they've seen things. If not one of them, if not all of them, one of them. Do they always travel in a pack like that? Is that a typical
I've always
thing?
seen them in a pack.
There's strength in numbers. Goblins are smaller.
Is it always the same number of goblins, or are there various groups of them, or?
I've encountered them twice, and I believe there was different numbers both times. It seemed like, I could be wrong, but from their interactions with me, at least part of the group was the same because they remembered me, but I don't know if the whole group was the same.
Besides, Elizabeth, haven't you read the stories of certain spies that like to, sleep around and get information? It's a good way to gather information.
No,
I don't think Elizabeth is into those kinds of books, is she?
I don't read that sort of thing. I read like workbooks. Yeah.
All of her books involve some kind of like combat or accomplishment.
Do they stab someone in these books? Do they sleep with them and then stab them afterwards? Then I might read it.
Why would you stab somebody you would sleep with? That doesn't seem... That seems counterproductive, does it not?
I've heard of criminals doing such.
You should be careful then, considering how often you're out meeting up with people.
There's been one, or I guess two. I guess one of them did not involve in sleeping, but
I've known her for 3 days.
yeah,
like I'm pretty sure it's only been like 3 or 4 days, right?
it's been like 2 technically. Yes.
Oh, so it's been like roughly 1 per day.
Yeah.
1 new person per day. Like,
Well, one that she had dinner with, and one that she had a full evening with. So.
well, they were talking about how she slept with the investigator, right?
By the way, from your knowledge local, I'm assuming that's about the goblins.
Yeah.
So the goblins down there do tend to be, with a 17, they tend to be a little bit territorialistic.
That's all I got. Oh.
So they do tend kind of to stick around a specific area. So when you see them, they're all probably part of like the same either family or tribe or group or whatever they refer to themselves as.
Would
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, would there be a way that we could like procure a small payment, like we could pay them for any, like, if they could inform us of any kind of something that they might have seen around.
You guys could use your own money, but the ministry is not going to pay you to like try to
Information.
yeah.
Plus, I don't think they would take it if it was directly from the ministry, anyways.
No.
Because
Would
then
it
they'd
be
be
frowned upon?
snitches.
Well, would it be frowned upon if we if we did like give them a little bit of gold in exchange for
You
information?
don't have to tell anybody that you did.
True.
Yeah, there's this paper trail if the ministry gives us money and then we hand over money to them. Whereas, like, if they just got money from us, then it'd be less conspicuous, I suppose.
So
Did you
Brianna,
just go from a sweatshirt to a sweatshirt? Oh no, okay, it's a t-shirt. Your sleeve made it look like it was
Oh.
part of the
I was
shirt.
like, oh, what are you talking about?
No, sorry.
So Brianna's going to propose that, perhaps the goblins would be more moved by money than, other interests, and that maybe they should, talk to the goblins and, compensate them for their time in talking to them.
Sounds like a reasonable plan. And I don't know if they're related in any way, shape, or form to any of the other people involved, but, because the other guy was a goblin, right? The why am I forgetting his
Ego.
name? Ego, yeah.
Yes, Ego was a goblin.
I mean, I can't definitively say, but goblins are a common race in the town, aren't they?
Yeah, fairly.
Okay. But if they're part of a tribe, then it might mean that there's more tribes and they might have more...
Well, yeah, you know that like tribe is kind of like another word for gang, effectively.
Oh. Okay, I was
it's
thinking
just
more
whatever.
tribe.
It's whatever word they use to define themselves as a collective.
Yeah, I was thinking like tribe in the like Samoan sense.
No, less so.
But
I mean,
no.
some of them do call themselves a tribe because they are like in some way maybe familial linked or like in the grand scheme. But some of them referred to as gangs, some of them have been referred to as families, some of them have been referred to like as
A gaggle
clans.
of goblins?
No, only linguists are interested in calling them a gaggle.
Do they meet the lingual qualifications of a gaggle of goblins? Is that the grammatic term?
What are the requirements for being a... Wait, how many is in a gaggle? Is that like a actual number? God damn it. Now I need to know.
It's usually 3 or more.
It's a flock.
Oh,
In fact,
yeah,
actually,
the
under...
collective
Hold
of
on.
Goblins is malignity? Malignity?
Under gaggle, it says an indefinite number.
I
just
know
like
3 or
the-
more crows is a murder of crows.
I just like the alliterative
I know.
aspects of that.
That's why I said only a linguist would.
I would say that
Only
Brianna-
people who are intensely bothered by the phrase ATM machines would enjoy the phrase gaggle of goblins.
Yeah, I just think that Brianna, because she writes songs and stuff, she thinks about these things.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of think that, we may have missed an opportunity to get some more information from them. I mean, if they are aware enough that they turned Gulron in for, breaking into Nico's home, perhaps they didn't turn someone in that actually paid them.
Okay. So back to the west side of the bridge.
I think so.
All right.
If the party's agreeable.
Yeah, I don't have any other ideas, so I'm gonna try it.
I don't see why not.
All right.
Try and smile at them, Elizabeth.
God.
Just you don't have to sleep with them. Just smile. At them.
The five
All right,
of
this
you
is
head.
Elizabeth trying.
The 5 of you head to Westbridge with a creepy smile on Elizabeth's face. Back near the home of Nico
She looks at
Van
Brianna.
Autumn.
Am I doing this right?
Pinch your cheeks. Make them a little red.
Yeah, so you guys are back in that neighborhood. It is about midday, so there's a good amount of activity on the streets. And it's not terribly difficult to find that little batch of goblins roaming about that neighborhood. There are 11 of them, or 9 of them this time.
9 of them. So I'll go up to them and say,
As you start to approach, you don't get to address them first. Ah, she's back!
Oh, you know each other?
How you doing? I told you you'd come back.
God damn it, Brianna. Why are you making me do this?
Smile, Elizabeth, smile.
Whoa! Are you alright, lady? Is this what you've been guarding? Is this what was in there with with Nico?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
I can see why Nico was interested.
You want to climb her now? Because she might be down.
I don't think I can afford that one.
She doesn't seem tall enough to climb.
Cheap whore!
I don't want to have to pay for you. I want to earn that victory. I want to conquer the mountain.
So, actually, we're wanting to speak
So
with you,
cheesy.
and we'd be willing to, pay you for your time to speak with us for a moment.
Now there's some words that are quite pleasant.
So at that, Brianna will hold out 5 gold pieces.
Somebody just roll something?
No, I just typed in there.
Oh, okay. That's mean.
Oops, I misspelled it too. Drats.
Sorry, what was Brianna doing?
Oh, she was holding out 5 gold pieces for.
I mean,
For
this isn't
later.
much to split between all of us. I mean, come on.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of money, but I hope this would buy at least a few minutes.
Ooh. I mean, you could always trade a few minutes in exchange for what you're missing.
You seem to be very knowledgeable about the neighborhood.
We
And,
know a lot of things, yeah.
You know, you seem to be like a nice neighborhood watch type group.
Yes, we watch a lot.
Yeah. You know, I just wondered, have you, aside from the unfortunate fellow at the ministry, did you happen to see?
You talking about your little dwarven boy?
Yeah, he's not having a very good day today.
Yeah, I'm sure we won't be later on, but it's worth it. I hope he gets his.
He always seems to be having a
fucking
bad day.
ministry members. Fucking
Well,
dwarves.
you know, I know that you were just trying to do the right thing, and
Yeah, that's it. Trying to do the right thing. Yeah.
Did he say racist things to you as well?
No.
Oh.
Dwarves they don't need provocation. They're thinking the whole time. You kidding me? Get out of here. I have dealt with a number of dwarves before.
So I was just wondering.
Can I get a quick sense motive from, or I'm sorry, actually, can I get a linguistics from Antius? Since it's kind of your first interaction, his common is not like the common you would expect from someone that grew up in Goblin Society. He's got more of like a natural goblin tongue. This isn't me like failing to do his voice. This is actually his tongue. Like
there's a reason that he speaks.
Yes.
You have exceptionally well common, all things considered.
Hard to make things run properly it's hard to make things run properly if you can't speak the language proper.
Perfect sense.
I just was wondering, aside from our dwarven friend,
Mm-hmm.
did you happen to see anyone else hanging around Mr. Nico's house?
That kind of question's not a cheap that gets an answer. If we did, in fact, see somebody, you know.
Oh, of course. Yes. If you did, perchance, how much would you require for?
It is legal to give the things that I own to other people. It's not legal to force that upon them, though. Correct, Steve?
Correct.
Okay, so I'll kind of like fiddle around with my money and stuff and kind of make it shown that I have some of the blood rush extract. I don't know if that's something that they would be interested in.
Hold on a sec.
Or perhaps even if that doesn't seem to work, I'll continue, and then with inspiration dust.
What was blood rush?
That's the one you sent me.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't.
25 gold.
Yeah, hang on a sec. Let me.
Yeah.
You pull that back up real quick.
The effect of it, or +2 knowledge, arcana, planes, and religion, and spellcraft checks. They're distracted for the purposes of perception checks. Refined from the thorns of blood red brush, this extract numbs the senses and evokes vivid hallucinations, heightened awareness, and altered thought processes.
You're making it pretty clear, so he catches it.
I'll start with that one, and if he has a reaction to it, then I'll...
Yeah, he'll actually voice, like, you got some interesting stuff over there, boyo.
Oh, yes, I make these. I'm an alchemist.
You make them?
Yes. I have, I just recently had to purchase another alchemist's lab, or portable alchemist's kit. But, yes, I'm fairly well adept at making things of this nature.
Perhaps there's room for us to talk, then.
Wonderful.
Tell you what, how about a sample?
Certainly. I'll pull out a sample enough for him.
Mm-hmm.
How about the information before you get all trippy?
Oh, that won't do much to him.
It's... Let's say, like, you know... It's better that this not be any sort of monetary transaction. At this point, it might taint the information you might get, but if I were to just, you know, have something that might loosen up my tongue a bit, maybe it would be a little easier for me to share.
And depending on how cooperative you are, I might have something, and I'll kind of do the same thing with the other stuff. I I might have something else that you might be interested in as well. The going rate for that is 75, but the solid one is 75. I don't know if you'd be interested in that because I just forgot what the description is.
Which was the other one you were talking about? The inspiration
dust.
That is
more valuable, but I don't know how.
No, because he'd like to. Hold on, let me go back to this one.
1d4 alchemist bonus on knowledge, linguistics, and spellcraft checks for 4 hours. Mind-opening properties of this.
Yeah, and the one gives him more of a hallucination, which is really what he's after, is the hallucinations.
But
Blood Rush is like one of those things that you take it, and then during that time you think really clearly, but mostly because your head's kind of in the clouds, it's separated enough from regular thought processes that it kind of lets you tie in better to like abstract ideologies.
If you're not if you don't partake with that, I am familiar with how to make things of these natures. If depending on how valuable the information is.
Let me take a sip of this, and Absolutely. I'll see if this opens my mind up to some things I might be forgetting.
Absolutely. Should I make an alchemist craft alchemy check? Because I did make them, by the way. I did the cost of making them myself.
What's your current 8?
+8, yes.
You will need to give me an alchemy check. This isn't terribly expensive, so you should be able to have made it effectively. But
okay. I wanted to make sure that those wouldn't have affected. It isn't. Oh, it's an intelligence.
It's craft, so it's intelligence based.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have been able to do it with the other bonus, but
no, you're fine. You easily make it.
Never mind.
And he takes it from you. He basically drinks it down. It's in like a little vial. He swigs it back and kind of leans up against the building next to him. It's been so long. We get a bad rap. We do a lot of things for a lot of people. A lot of you people don't really get, like, what we do, but, we handle the things that people don't think about. It always bothers me when I see one of our kind being setting a bad example, Some of them set a real bad example.
Anyone in particular?
I don't know who they were. Just setting a bad example. Waving their fingers around, making shit happen. Couldn't have been up to no good, but... who am I going to tell, right? Nobody cares.
Is there anything distinctive about Ego that I would remember, like anything that stands out that would discern him from other people visually?
You said
he was a little chunkier, right?
No.
Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, that's not Ego.
Maybe I was thinking of...
Yeah, Ego's kind of like average for a goblin. Almost like... Yeah, average in thickness, seemingly average strength. He's not outwardly appealing, but a lot of goblins don't tend to be.
Anything about his like garb or anything I might be able to remember?
Normally he'd be well dressed, but no, nothing that you can remember.
Anything stand out about this goblin? The way he dresses, perhaps, or anything he was carrying with him?
He looked pretty, like, normally dressed. Just a lot of... I mean, he was not visible for a little while, but, I mean, we see a lot of what goes on,
Interesting.
A lot of what goes on.
Was the other guy a goblin as well? I believe he was, but I can't remember.
No, Sterling was a halfling.
Sterling. Oh, yeah, you're right. You said it was a goblin?
I mean, he had all the makings. Looked like one of us, almost.
Did he have anything else? Like a deck of cards, perhaps?
No. A deck of cards. It's a weird thing for somebody to have.
It is.
Yeah, no, but no.
I agree. Nothing else stands out about them? Just the average goblin by himself? That seems odd.
I'm thinking. Oh, sadly, no. There was some about the words, but I can't remember. Some about the way he said his words when he would,
Do you remember
when he would cast the spells.
how they sounded?
No, I just botched my knowledge check.
Do you remember the words themselves?
No, it's they were different, very different.
What about the gestures?
Hard to see those. He was facing towards the building when he was doing it. It was late. Very late.
Did he have a dagger on him, perhaps?
No. He had
Interesting.
no weapons on him at all, actually. He was...
That seems odd.
No, I mean, that's not entirely weird.
For somebody traveling by themselves? Did he say what time of day it was?
It was evening, late evening.
In the evening, traveling by themselves to not have weapons on them?
I mean, if he has magic, maybe he doesn't need weapons, you know?
That's true. But no offense or anything, but I have very limited interactions with goblins, and the ones I have seen usually travel together. Is that a more common thing?
Some people go solo, you know? Not everybody wants to be a team player.
Interesting.
This is good. Oh,
Yes,
man, this is better than I usually get.
I try to pride myself on it. I don't like to brag about it, but I think that I do fairly well.
Oh, you did real well.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh.
Do you remember anything about how he looked? Like, what kind of hair he had or anything of that nature?
Yeah, no. It was dark. It's always hard to see colors and distinct things in the dark. It's really just shapes and... yeah. And again, like, he was a good distance off when he had come out of being less than visible, you know?
That's understandable. And were you the only one that saw him?
Hey. He, does anybody here speak Goblin, by chance?
I do not remember. No, I know, Gnomish, and I know a lot of things aside from Goblin.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
He exchanges some words back and forth with some of the other people in Goblin. Nah, it's not going to be enough to... and then he looks back.
It's Goblin.
A couple of us did see it, but I mean, they're not. They're good at seeing things. They're not so good at determining things or remembering things. They're not like I am, you know?
How is that? What do you mean by that?
It's not their focus.
Ah.
Their focus is to be places when we need them and keep an eye out the way we need them to. They work on the level, you know?
Ah, they're good at following orders.
Not always.
Well, not orders. Orders is a little strict.
No, they're good at keeping an eye out and making sure no one sees them keeping an eye out, you know? But they don't always pick up detail well, and they don't always remember things well.
It's good that they have you to look out for them.
You gotta take care of your family. Even your extended family.
Let's see if I have something.
Yellow's a great color, you know? Yellow's like bright and it's happy and it's warm. God, yellow's great. Look at that yellow. Oh. He's like half staring at the sun.
It is a great color.
Such a great color. color.
Infusions. Does that? I can't remember. I have the thing written down, but does that allow other people to take them? It doesn't say on.
I don't
the
think
thing.
so. Hold on.
It didn't say on the description I had, but. Oops, not infusion therapy.
An infused extract can be imbibed by a non-alchemist to gain its effects.
Okay. Because I do have the infusion discovery.
Okay.
So I assumed that I would have kept that with me, because that's pretty much the cognitogen is pretty much the only thing that I make with the infusions.
Yeah.
At the moment.
So you yeah.
Would it be reasonable to assume that I have one with me that I could perhaps offer to him?
Hold on one sec. Let me just make sure. I don't do a lot of alchemist stuff often.
Me either. This is the first time I've actually made an alchemist. Because I think that it works as in it uses the slot, but until I use it or diffuse it, essentially, I think is how
I
it
thought
works.
extracts were the equivalent of spells, right? Not your
believe
cognitogen. Your cognitogen is what your mutagen would have been otherwise, but you're the opposite option. So this would be based on one of your formulas that you would be sharing with somebody else.
Oh, you're right. I don't know if let me make sure. I don't know if I put those into the thing yet. I have the list of them, but let me see if this is. I have the whole list of them. I forgot to transfer them over directly to that. I would just put them in the spells, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, they would basically be spells, because that is effectively what they are. It's you kind of pulling ether and blending it into alchemy, alchemist ingredients to create an effective compound.
Okay. Because I have heightened awareness and tears to wine. Turns non-magical liquids, including
Yeah, so you could offer him the heightened awareness.
Okay. Yeah, if I had the heightened awareness, so don't remember what this tears to. Oh, +2 enhancement bonus on intelligence and wisdom-based skill checks.
No, if you give him the heightened awareness, that'll give him a reroll.
Okay. Yeah, I'll offer him the heightened awareness.
I mean, if you're going to keep facilitating him with drugs, he's going to take them.
It's yes.
Oh, that's not much better.
He's a mystery initiate, right?
That is so sad. That's not much higher roll.
Even with the +2.
He rolled 2 higher than his last roll.
So that's only.
Yeah, he rolled a 6, and he's not got a lot of it. He's got some bonus, but not a lot of a bonus. Oh, this is weird. It's like being awake and asleep at the same time. Whoa. Everything is clear, but everything's fuzzy.
Do I have intimate knowledge of how taking both of those at the same time would feel?
Well, what he's describing is kind of accurate. Information kind of fires off really quickly, and so you can process that information, but things are both blurry and back in focus at the same time. So you notice details, but not necessarily the larger picture. Okay. So it's a really kind of disorienting feeling.
I was gonna more so try to connect with them as far as share a little, be oh yeah, that this kind of happened when I took it, or be more familiar with him, oh yeah, kind of describe what he's going through a little.
Yeah, I feel like I understand better how a lot of stuff works, but the world is really weird looking right now. Big lady, your eyes, I could just get lost in them.
I don't know if there's enough mass to actually get lost in her eyes.
It seems like there's enough mass. I could wander around in them for days.
Oh Lord.
Do you remember back when the goblin was at Nico's house? Do you remember? Was there any kind of sounds going on, music playing, or anything like that?
No
perhaps?
music. No, there's never much music here.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. Music's nice.
Agree.
Very nice. Oh,
That's unfortunate.
you should share some of this stuff with your uptight mountain over there. Ah. Oh.
That's just what Elizabeth needs with her freaking sanity sensitivity shit is to be taking drugs too.
It'll help. It'll help you do it.
Or will I just see way more than I really want to see?
Oh, I didn't take that spell yet.
I think Brianna's gonna start singing a song about the color yellow.
It was all yellow.
Okay.
Yep.
And what do you want to do with this?
I don't know, just kind of like, I don't know, get him in a good mood. Maybe he'll, I don't know, remember something, or just kind of see, like, is he holding something back, you know?
Okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah, you get the feeling he's not really holding anything back. He's not, like, trying to keep any sort of secrets here. He really does want to, like, remember, but there's something, like, at the edge of his mind he just cannot grab hold of.
Oh. John's here.
That's Gulran to you.
No, Gulran's not here yet.
Probably for the best.
Probably for the best.
So do I know if the side effects of taking like a heightened awareness with that, I don't know if that would be too much, and I don't want to I don't want to kill him.
No, you've already given him the heightened awareness along with the blood rush.
Oh no, I thought sorry, is this the other one that I had?
Maybe I misunderstood, but I thought you were saying you were
the
giving
wrong one. Enhancement bonus, is that it? Oh, that's a competence bonus. What about tears to wine? I meant, sorry.
Yeah, you could add that as well. Things are gonna get real weird for him real quick. It's gonna. So when you basically do this, like, it's gonna again, like, sort of enhance that focus on minute details, and really, like, get his mind thinking on, like, very specific kind of abstract concepts.
I'll ask him ahead of time if that's something that
he will take. At this point, like, you've provided him some primo experiences, he will take it even further as long as you assure him he's not going to die from it.
I can tell him. I can definitively tell him that if everything goes all right, he won't die. Right? Like, there's no.
Yeah, no, there's no risk of death from this.
Okay. I didn't.
He's just gonna have a high so high he's never gonna be able. He's gonna, like, desire to have it.
Oh yeah, he's gonna
again.
become an addict. That's fine. There's programs for that.
That's a revenue stream for you, right?
Oh, it can be. That one, it's like a minute per level, right?
It's 10 minutes per level, so yeah.
Oh, it takes. Okay. Where are we currently at?
You're like
to create it. I mean,
I'm sort of assuming you have some of the stuff together. So
okay, if that's fine, because I would bring the enhance it. Because my other ones that I have...
The idea is, like, what you're doing is you're prepping the ingredients you have on you for the day.
Yeah.
And then you're throwing them together once you get in the situation. And kind of, blending in a little bit of the arcana you need in the moment.
My other list is comprehend languages, CLW, fabricate, and targeted bomb ad mixture.
No,
those are so they're not as.
You're not looking for combat, so I'm assuming you'd have your, like, non-combat readiness.
Yeah. So those are all more.
He will drink this and get one last check, because I don't think there's another way you can add any more bonuses here.
I don't think so.
Oh! This is the opposite of hot dice.
It's hot shit.
He rolled lower.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Who earns? It's my thing. I think my thing is exclusive to me. I don't think that I can have somebody else reroll.
Yeah, that much you cannot
may
do.
Reroll. Damn.
Yep.
I figured as much.
No, opposite of that, John. Opposite of that. I'm just. This is really getting my mind going. I'm thinking about a lot of things, but like her eyes and what I could do with you.
You didn't happen to see the eyes of the person that was outside, did you?
No, way too dark for that.
Gotcha. And everything he was wearing was dark as well? Well, I'm assuming he was a he.
I can't. It's hard to tell. Like, I can't get under his skirt while he's that far away.
His skirt, you say?
I don't know if it was a skirt. It was dark. He was far enough away. I made out that it was a goblin.
It could have been a kilt. I understand.
Could have been anything.
Or a
Could have been
robe.
pants.
Or a robe, yes, correct. That makes more sense. How high up was... Because this was outside the window, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the window was... it was an average height for a human, correct?
Yes.
And they were able to reach that height?
I mean, I didn't see him while he was near the window. I heard him while he was near the window.
Oh,
By the time I
okay.
saw him, he was some distance away from the window.
What exactly did you hear? Just out of curiosity.
Some, what I assume were, what I know to be at least spellcasting words.
And none of them stood out, you said?
Can't remember. I feel like they did, but I can't remember what about them did.
Do you remember what language they were in?
Probably Draconic. It's what most spellcasters use when they're casting spells.
Are there common words that are used in low-level Draconic spells that I would know?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe?
he's failed the ability to recall what words were used. Like, that's what he's testing for, that's what his checks were, was to see if he could recall what words were used.
Well, I was going to see if there was any way I have Draconic. I was going to see if there's any way I'd be able to maybe mimic the...
You'd be talking about, like,
trigger.
dozens of words to go through, and even then, many of them cross over into each other.
Okay, so it'd be pretty fruitless then.
Yeah. You could easily put yourself on a wild goose chase that might not lead anywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright, let me give you some time to think, and let's see what's going on in the Ghoulron neck of the woods, shall we?
Objection, Your Honor. It wasn't me.
Let's change up the music here.
Bet they caught you on camera.
Wasn't me.
Poetry.
Oh, Steve.
I fucked up your cams on the overlay.
No, you didn't. Oh, yeah, you did. That actually is going to happen no matter what. So, I'll fix those around real quick. This down here. This here.
Actually,
Actually,
11k coins.
this is
this here.
Maybe a long shot, but was he making knowledge checks?
Yes.
Was that what he was? Okay, because the inspiration dust adds a 1d4 alchemical bonus.
Yep, and like I was saying, it literally did not help.
Oh no! I meant the inspiration dust and the blood brush extract, and the heightened awareness and the tears to wine. Those are all different bonuses.
What if we?
I know.
What if we coins?
I was doing the checks as well as I could.
Okay, I thought we only done 3 of them. That's why I was asking. My bad.
Could we not use dice manipulations to get a better result?
Not for him. He's not a player. So let's jump over.
Fourth roll.
Let's jump over to Ghoulron.
What are those damn goblins?
So Ghoulron, I don't like this music. This isn't quite the music I want.
That's the music I think of when I think of
the
Ghoulron.
Phoenix Wright theme song.
Objection.
Let me find what I'm looking for. Ghoulron, you find yourself in an interrogation room in the barracks. and people are none too happy with you. You are kind of woken up in the morning and are literally brought to the barracks as a pair of knights stand outside of your front door, waiting for you to open it as they knock at it. You're given very little information. You're just told that it is you're required to come with them, and that more will be discussed once you're sat down in front of your interrogator.
Interrogator?
Yes.
Oh. That's highly unusual.
Well, then next time don't commit crimes, and this won't have to happen.
Who says I committed a crime?
Quite a few people, actually. I'm gonna need you to come with me.
Was this guy like fully armed and shit?
Yeah, they're knights. They're fully decorated in full plate. They have a sword as a sidearm. They have a shield mounted on their back. They are ready for, and they of course have a number of other accoutrements if something else should.
Clearly not like an impersonator. Like I clearly know this is like a legit.
Yeah,
dude.
these are very clearly knights. It would be very hard to impersonate a knight.
All right. Let me get my robes on for goodness sake, and I'll go get dressed and then go follow them.
Okay. Damn it! I cannot find the right music here. I need better tracks. I need more better tracks. Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say. Also, I don't think that he actually. And we don't need to go back to it or anything. At the moment or whatever. I was just gonna say I don't think that he took the inspiration dust though. But if he's having a trouble,
He did not take the inspiration dust.
But I don't know if that's too much or not.
Taking the inspiration dust on top of everything would probably put him out really bad.
Okay.
Because you'd be adding a layer of like paranoia on top of like his existing inability now to perceive the world as reality. So you would basically throw him into a terrible
and heroin place. And
you've given him quite a number of drugs. So you are waiting there in the dungeon. Or I'm sorry, in the interrogation room. No, you're not in the dungeon yet.
Quickly.
It takes a while before somebody will finally come in to meet with you. You get the sensation like you're being kept in this room way longer than you really deserve to be kept in this room. But eventually, a high-ranking knight, you can tell that they're well-decorated because their armor has a series of like colored sashes that run down the front of it. These are green. Sashes, I guess, isn't the right word, but I guess maybe it is. They walk over and they take a seat at the table across from you. Gulran, is it?
That's my name. The most mighty dwarf to ever set foot here, of course.
Let's not talk about mightiness in the position you're in right now, Mr. Gulran. I have it under some pretty substantial evidence that you recently entered unlawfully into the home of one Nico von Hoddam. Is that correct?
When he's saying this, is it reasonable for me to assume like the goblins have told on me and they probably shared their memories? Like I should just I know this to be true, or
I mean, I don't know necessarily how you would assume that. You do know they know, and perhaps you remember that they said that they were going to tell.
And on whose word do you hear this from?
Some little green people.
Green people?
Mm-hmm.
You are not referring to goblins, are you? The ones that accosted me in the streets?
Perhaps I am. Why did they accost you?
Well, they seem to have, quote-unquote, told you the story, but did they tell you the full story? Have you searched their minds?
They shared with me what they saw from across the street.
What about after that?
Your crime is still your crime.
Sure, but I'm sure you just wouldn't take a out-of-context memory, would you? I'm sure you took the full context, just making sure.
You climbing out of somebody's window is pretty good context.
Yes, sure. I admit to as much, but I'm sure you got the full story in your reports.
They saw you there, they came up to you, they asked you what you were doing. After asking you what they were doing, you offered them a bribe. And then...
False, Sir Knight, false.
Okay.
I did not offer them a bribe. They extorted me, and I agreed to their terms in order to escape as they tightened their grips around their weapons, threateningly. It was a matter of life and death, I can assure you.
It's not what they tell me. From what they said,
You don't need to worry about what they said. You have their memories, no? You should have seen this whole thing. It was pretty
I
clear
asked for the evidence of the crime.
Well,
I didn't ask for evidence of any other crimes. They came to me to report a crime. They presented a crime. I took the evidence at hand. The evidence at hand is that you broke into a house. If you have a crime to report yourself, we can report that crime, and we can follow up on that crime.
well, of course, yes.
So your story is that they attempted to extort money from you by force.
Implied force.
And
yes. After I tried to flee, they did attempt to attack me.
Did they perhaps follow you down because a criminal is now escaping from a location?
Oh, I didn't know that they were vigilantes, and I didn't know they were outstanding citizens. I'm sure this is clearly what they are, right?
Would you say that you were an outstanding citizen when you knocked a woman unconscious in the sewers recently?
What?
And fed her to
Did I do this? I didn't do that.
And fed her to an ooze?
I don't believe I did that, but I believe...
He, takes the report from your last case and sets it down on the desk, opens it up and turns to a woman's name, and then turns to and then highlights the word deceased, and then next to it, reason for death, consumption by ooze.
Yes, I believe my party was responsible for that, but I can't help that if they...
What a coincidence! You previously murder a woman in the sewers and feed her to an ooze.
Whoa,
Next thing I know, you're breaking and entering, and then you're trying to start fights with the goblins.
Hold on, sir, please, calm yourself. This is quite outrageous accusation you're making here. That woman was responsible for the kidnapping of several children, and it was in a combat that we tried to subdue her, and that happened. It was a life and death situation.
And she deserved justice.
She did, but unfortunately that was our only
Just like those
escape.
goblins did.
Just like those... What? I didn't harm the goblins. I actually fled harmlessly. I didn't even try to attack any of them.
They claim you attempted to cast a spell.
Yes, to protect myself. That's the only reason I was able to escape unharmed. Had I not casted such a spell, I may be lying in the streets dead.
Well,
for what? A simple board broken that I fixed, by the way, but it doesn't excuse my crime. I admit to it. It was rash. I was trying to solve the crime as quickly as possible, but was not the right way, I acknowledge. But it does not excuse them for attempting to harm me.
The knight stands up, walks over to the door at the knocking. There are a few words exchanged in... Do you speak Orcish?
Probably not, but let me double check. I speak Common and Dwarven, so no.
The knight opens the door, and a rather familiar face, Mara, steps in through the door. I'm sorry, Maha steps through the door and stands against the wall as the knight walks back over to the other side of the table. Now, please repeat your story one more time.
Sorry, out of character, Maha's our person who gave us the cases and stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I was investigating the current case of the missing money from the individual named Nico Van Houten, and he was not home when I went to his residence, and I made the rash decision to... He wasn't... there was something odd about him that I feel like I was not getting the full picture, so I took it upon myself to enter his abode unlawfully, I suppose. On my exit, I repaired my entry so no harm had been done, but does not excuse myself. I acknowledge it was a poor decision, but some goblins had witnessed me and surrounded me and tried to extort some money out of me in order to keep them quiet. When I literally have no money on me, so I could not agree to a bribe, even if I wanted to. And as they gripped their weapons...
That's enough, Gulran. That's enough.
Right.
That's enough. Maha takes a few steps away from the wall and over to the table. She looks over the knight and then back to you. What the fuck were you thinking, Gulran? You cannot just go into people's houses against their permission. We have rules here. I know you're not natively from around here, and I know that maybe in whatever customs you originate from, things operate differently. But you took a huge risk going there. To break into the house of somebody who's already been invaded. Already lost. And what, do you think that perhaps he stole his own money? And what does he have to gain from it? A loss of his own money?
But he's not being... There's missing pieces to the puzzle that he's not... There's something fishy going on. I admit it wasn't a good decision, but it may have led to a clue.
Do you have any idea how complicated this makes things for us?
I actually don't.
I hope to God you didn't attempt to bribe these goblins.
I didn't. They extorted me. I agreed to their extortion to escape. I did not hand them any coin or offer it myself. They demanded it, and their hands gripped around their weapons. Would you rather me choose death? I chose to flee and lie to them and say I would give them money, but I did not actually hand them any money.
It's going to take a little bit of time for us to round up the goblins. We will need We need to do a thorough investigation. If your life was in jeopardy, we need to follow up on the jeopardy they put to your life. Perhaps you had probable cause to go into the building. However, you were in distress and cannot properly think through what it is that happened, and so you're forgetting the probable cause you might be lacking in this circumstance.
It's true, they did have an encounter with me earlier, and they also harassed my other party members earlier as well. I don't know if they're known criminals in the area, but
well,
they clearly are not the most upstanding citizens to hold their words as completely true when they say things.
Well, if once we can figure out exactly what happened here, perhaps you can come to a clearer head about what it is that was urgent that required you to get within that building. What probable cause you might have had for breaking in so urgently in that matter. Perhaps you heard screaming. Perhaps you thought something was amiss on the inside that you had seen. But first we need to make sure that your mind is in the right place. if the goblins were putting your mind at any sort of unease, you may have acted irrationally or maybe a little hastily. I'll make sure they come in, and I'll make sure we get the proper questions asked of them.
I heard that they had offered memories. I suggest you get the full memory and not just the specific spots they voluntarily gave. If they refuse, clearly they are hiding something.
We'll see what we can acquire. You have information that is important to the case, and we'd rather not lose that information or what leads you've gained. I do apologize, though. This is going to take some time. But I'll try to work quickly with the knights here to make sure that this doesn't take too long. Are you fully willing to cooperate?
Of course. I appreciate your understanding, and I promise to be more in line with what is expected of me from this point forward.
Lots of things can happen on these kind of cases. There's a lot of stress involved, and some people can get personally attached. And especially if you've got goblins that are harassing you and causing other problems, you can often forget the reason you take certain actions. Just think on things for a little bit, and hopefully when we get back, you'll have more clearer details. She slides a piece of paper and a pen over to you, and then she and the knight take their leave. A few hours later, Maha comes back into the room without the knight and closes the door behind her. And she does not take the seat. She pushes the seat in and kind of leans onto the seat. Gulwan, I'm going to need you to be entirely honest, or you're probably not walking out that door. Did you offer them? Were you the first person to mention financial compensation in exchange for silence?
To be completely honest, I don't remember who offered the coin first, but I know they had threatened me in a corner, so it's hard to remember.
Would you say that your personal space felt violated?
Oh, definitely. They surrounded me completely, and from our previous interactions, I knew they were not clearly outstanding citizens, so I felt in danger.
Would you say that this has caused it to be a little more difficult for you to remember the circumstances of what had happened on that day?
100%. I mean, people aren't perfect and memories are fickle. I recall them asking for coin, but perhaps I had said it in a panic. I can't be certain.
Then you should probably be a little more clear about that with the knight when he comes back in. It's important they know the conditions that you were dealing with at the time. This work can be quite stressful, and it can get you into a lot of tough situations. So maybe just point out that this has been tough, and that maybe you have some skin in the game that you don't want to own up to outwardly. That might also be impairing a bit of your judgment here. They understand. They're knights themselves. Many of them have overstepped their boundaries before in the heat of wanting to solve a case.
Mm-hmm. Maha, my intentions were always pure. I obviously didn't break in this house to steal anything. Always my mind was on solving the case, but it doesn't excuse anything. I'm just letting you know my intent was not malicious.
I understand your intentions. Your intentions are not what is on trial here. It is simply the actions. And we know that things can get a little overwhelming at times. There are just procedures that have to be followed, and everything has to be done right, or the system falls apart.
Yes, I agree.
So a substantial amount of the day later, you will be you'll be released. Maha, you are taken under Maha's kind of guardianship for a little while. She will reiterate to you that if you do anything like this again, it is not only on you but on her. And as she puts it, I'm not going down for your mistakes. If it seems like your trouble, if it seems like your necessity to maintain your free will or your personal space is going to get in the way, I will inform the church, and they will probably have to decline you what you truly desire. You may be put on the arcane and divine blacklist. That would mean that casting spells is forbidden. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone. Let's try to work together in the future and try to keep things above board.
When you say my personal space being invaded, what do you mean? I mean, if I'm surrounded, I'm going to defend myself. I'm not going to submit to death.
Yes, but if you value your own personal space so much, perhaps you should value that of others as well.
I don't get your meaning.
Breaking and entering is a direct violation of someone else's personal space. Would you agree?
Sure.
That answer does not bode well.
I just mean you're implying I should have respected the goblin's space or something. I just don't understand.
No, I'm implying that you should have respected the space of the person who you attempted to enter, whose home you attempted to enter unlawfully.
Yes, I agreed with that already.
So, in the future, let's keep things above board. Another infraction like this, and I will not be at your side to help you. You'll need to have your story straight ahead of time, or you will likely not be working for us or for the church any longer. Is that understood?
Loud and clear.
Good. Your friends are off doing more investigation. I have not heard from them since they left this morning.
They're probably dead without my leadership.
Yes.
I'll get them in line.
All right. So, the other three of you, do you have anything more you wanted to ask of the goblin?
No, I didn't have anything specifically, but I was gonna let him know that if any information comes up to kind of, to give him a way to kind of contact me.
We'll be in touch with you. We'll
might need more
definitely be in
supply.
touch with you. All right. So the three of you will head where from here?
I would assume back to the ministry, unless the other two have anything else.
No, I think back to the ministry is good. We can go report in, and we at least think we know it's a goblin, at least one of them.
Okay. So the three of you will arrive back probably about the time that Gulran is finishing his conversation with Maha.
Yeah, they at least appeared to be a goblin. I don't know.
Gulran is probably on his way out of the building as you guys get to the building.
Oh, hey, Goran.
Hello. What have you all been up to? Lollygagging?
Our job? What have you been up to?
Answering for your crimes. I was
crimes.
I was blamed for the ooze situation when I believe that was you, Elizabeth.
Maybe if you'd gotten a rope out and helped me tie her up faster, I wouldn't have had to push her into an ooze.
I was saving children.
All right,
and I was not there.
That is true.
Come now, you two.
There was another alchemist who was equally as useless. I'm just kidding, you're not as useless.
Equally as useless as you? Yeah.
Elizabeth.
You speak poorly of a man who died only but a few days ago.
I never liked him.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
mean,
actually really harsh.
I don't believe you would be a good alchemist given your current skill set. I mean, I could train you if you would be interested.
Dwarves don't do well with alchemy. That's more of a... I don't want to be rude, but it's more of like a you thing, you know?
Oh, yes. An elf thing? As are bombs. Those are traditionally used by elves, correct?
Come now, guys. Gulron, you claim to want to be our leader, and yet you are unwilling to take responsibility for the actions of the group. A true leader would know that they would do that.
I'm not taking responsibility for murdering someone. Sorry. Nice try, though.
Are you having trouble remembering the situation? Did you murder someone?
No,
We didn't murder anyone.
I was saving
Self-defense.
children. And yet I'm the one who's being held accountable for that. It's fine.
Is this factual?
It is very factual, good sir. Don't ever doubt the word of a dwarf.
I believe I was asking the other people. No offense or anything, but asking you your opinion on your own opinion seems kind of redundant, does it not?
No, it doesn't.
Truth be told, it was a matter of self-defense. I'm surprised it came up at all. But, you know...
I tried that one. It didn't work out with the knight, so... Nice try. Think of a better one.
Perhaps you should stay away from the knight's questioning from now on, eh?
Yes, I would love to. But you guys keep killing people, so stop that.
Oh, we've not killed anybody. Except for the one person in the sewers.
We didn't kill anyone except for that one time.
Now there's
Hey now, like I said, if
having killed
someone
people?
could have helped me with those damn ropes.
Alright, it's in the past. Let's move on. What did you find out
Was
today?
it multiple people, one person? Because I'm hearing different stories.
It was
from
just
It's in
It
the
was
past.
one
Let us...
fey creature that we were trying to apprehend in the sewers, and I was trying to tie her up, and I couldn't quite get her tied up, and then she got away.
Elizabeth, what you do in your free time tying people up? I don't want to hear about it. So what did you find out today? Can you please
doesn't seem like Elizabeth's
we
thing.
spoke to a new source who indicated that it was a goblin that broke into Nico's place the first time.
I thought...
Not you.
You don't know that.
I think we
already concluded.
Yeah, they were told.
We do know that.
Yes, we spoke to some eyewitnesses.
Oh, well, you can never trust a goblin. All right, we already knew it was a goblin. Tell me something new, please.
We did not know it was.
We didn't know it was a goblin.
We were like 80% sure it was a goblin.
We knew a goblin installed the trap door. We did not know for sure that the same goblin was the person who broke in.
So you confirmed
and stole
it's the same
money.
person?
No,
We confirmed
just
that
confirmed it's a goblin.
we confirmed that the witness believes it to be a goblin, and
Wait,
possibly
witness? Who's the witness?
That the witness believes it to be a goblin while under the influence of drugs.
Drugs.
Who's the witness? I thought this crime was unwitnessed. Where's the witness now?
they didn't see the act.
It's
per
your
se.
friend who turned
My
you
friend.
in.
Elizabeth!
You were hanging out with those goblins?
That seems awfully.
I need a will save to keep my composure here.
Yeah. You hold
All
it
right.
together. Your good dwarven fortitude keeps your face at bay.
Hmm.
You seem awfully distressed about these goblins.
You know-
goblins in general.
Gulron, the next time you run into the goblins, you should get some a care package from Erebos.
What?
Wrong character.
Who's Erebos?
Sorry, wrong.
I heard he's a mighty wizard in another land.
Antaeus.
Antaeus.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's not. It would be A. Revos if it was the guy from the other campaign.
Erebos, I've heard of his scribing and scroll business. Very good, yes.
You've heard information outside of the country? That's interesting. I didn't know that was possible.
Evil assholes.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
All this information comes from the goblins who put me in this situation? Unbelievable. What
They
you
were
got?
very forthcoming
You
with the
put
information,
yourself
as much
in
as
this
they could remember
situation,
anyways.
bud.
to be fair, Gulron, you actually gave me the idea. I realized that if they had seen you break into Nico's house, they probably had seen the other person that broke in.
Excellent. I knew I'd help, even if I wasn't even there. Good work. You're paying attention, unlike these other two. So you found out it's a goblin. Any other leads?
Well, according to the your friends there, they
Stop calling them my friends.
oh, okay. They heard a commotion, and when they went around the corner, they saw a goblin going in the other direction. So we don't have a positive ID.
Did they say that
I
they saw him
apologize.
holding things?
They believed it to be a goblin, and they said that they were wearing some kind of skirt. It could have been a
robe or
robe.
a dress.
Yes, as you said.
Well, hold on. Part of my testimony for defending myself is I claim these goblins had more information in their memories. Perhaps, do you remember which goblin you were talking to? They should take this memory as well. This is
the
very
one that
crucial.
spoke fluent English or common.
Yes, can you identify this goblin again? If we should inform the ministry that if they're going to round up these goblins anyway to get their further testimonies, that
Why are they rounding them up?
because they assaulted me, and they should pay for their crime as well.
You look
But that's besides the
fine.
point. While they're
They
being,
assaulted you? You don't appear to be injured.
I escaped with my divine magics. I'm not easily taken down by some weak goblins. Anyways,
Why would they have assaulted you?
can you stop interrupting me, goddammit?
I don't understand the situation.
They had demanded coin for silence, and I refused. Well, I agreed to get away. It's a complicated story.
They've never
The same
demanded
goblins,
things
the
from
same 9
me.
goblins that we encountered earlier today. They seem
I'm
to
not
be very
sure.
friendly. All things
You guys
considered.
just said it was the same goblin, so I'm assuming it is.
The one that spoke very fluent common, correct?
The one that spoke to me. I'm sorry, out of character. Did they all speak to me, or is it just
Only the one.
Yeah, so I had an encounter with one that spoke for the group. He spoke common very well, so perhaps, I mean, I don't know how many, I don't know if it's racist to assume no goblins can speak common well, but it may be
Since
the
when
same.
has racism stopped you?
It's
True.
I don't believe it'd be racist, but it would be uncommon for someone, for a goblin to speak common as a second language as well as he does.
So it must be the same. Anyways, you must tell the ministry that it's more
He
crucial to
assaulted
get
you?
attempted assault. That's besides the point. Let's get back on the case. Antaeus. What I'm saying is, if you
That's not assault.
What is attempted assault? I don't.
They attempted to strike me and failed because I am a divine caster. What more
Is
do
that
you
all
need?
that's required not to be stricken down?
No, it's not all that is required. It's just I casted a spell that helped me escape unscathed.
Oh, the way you said it made it sound as if because you were a divine caster, you were not stricken down.
Well,
As if your
I
god had
wasn't,
interfered.
I mean, if I was a wizard, I probably would have other means of getting away as well. But I'm just saying, if I was not a caster, I would have been
Assaulting
hurt.
them.
What?
They didn't. They were.
I did not assault them. I did not even lift a finger towards them. I don't know. Can we get off this topic? I've already been interrogated once today. God
They were
damn
very
it.
friendly with us. They did not even
They
attempt to
did.
assault
They
us.
really like me, and I'm not a super likable person.
Yeah,
so I
the
don't know
one
why
that's
they
like
like
you.
They wanted to climb on top of you and in your eyes, specifically the one that spoke common.
Okay. I don't know what you guys did to get on their good side, but that's great.
We talked
we-
to them.
The climb my eye.
Well, they...
Did you
did
try
not-
speaking with them?
Yes, it didn't go very well, as it
That's-
ended with them striking me.
That doesn't. Well, I thought they attempted to strike you.
Yeah, you said they
But that
did
does
it.
not
I need
surprise
another
me too
willpower
much.
check where I'm about to initiate some PvP. Okay.
Given our
Listen,
previous encounters, that does
Antaeus,
not strike me
please.
as
Okay, I've already given my
Strange.
story to the knight and Maha. I don't want to repeat it to you, okay? Can we just drop it? The goblins and me are not on good terms. End of story. Good day, goodbye, okay?
Did you not
Now,
want to know what we, how did you say goodbye? I thought we were trying to talk
I'm
about what we
saying-
learned.
Antaeus, please. I may have not grown up with dwarves, but I have a dwarven temper, and you're reaching the rim of my patience. All I'm saying is, we need to get this goblin you spoke to under the ministries. We need to get the memory of what he saw to confirm this.
We need to extract his memory? Doesn't
Yes,
that seem a bit
he-
invasive?
Well, he volunteered his. Well, I don't know which one of them, but some of them volunteered their memories earlier to report me, and as part of my defense of that, they must volunteer more information to. So if they're bringing them in anyway to get more memories, we might as well bring this up that they're a pertinent witness to a crime, and they should either spell it in more detail or offer their memory. And if they deny such a thing, It's clearly impeding our justice.
Steve, does that strike me as odd that they would give up that information of their own volition, given that they're in a pack or a gang or something like that?
Give up which information?
Like they would be willing to give up their memories like that.
Depends on what the circumstances are. Like if they feel like somebody slighted them well enough and they might be able to get the upper hand from it, and somebody committed a big enough crime, they might think there's reward in it, and they might be willing to offer up the information in exchange for a potential reward.
Okay, I was operating under the assumption that they didn't want anything to do with the guard as much as possible.
They will try to avoid it where possible, you think, but you didn't really get that kind of level of detail, so you wouldn't really know. Like, you didn't communicate as to whether or not their snitch status was. The only person that knows anybody that said anything about whether or not they're willing to snitch was when Gulran knocked on the neighbor's door and had the guy specifically tell him, like, I'm no snitch.
I ain't no snitch.
No, it was an orc dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that, we also dropped by the security office, the one that certifies assurance. They had previously written that their security was top notch, and there was no way that they would ever get a break in. And we spoke actually with the ego that runs the company, and so. It turns out it was actually Ego that installed the trapdoor for Nico.
So he's a goblin, Ego?
Yes, Ego's a goblin.
Wait, he runs the company?
Yes.
He hires people out to do his work.
I thought Oh yeah, I don't know if I was there. I don't know if was I there when you guys talked to them initially? I don't think so. I was breaking in and entering.
Yep.
Did they tell me what happened when they went there?
We didn't talk to them.
You guys have not had a recap about most. You guys have not talked about most of this stuff yet together.
Oh, okay.
This was the first time we had talked to them, correct?
This is our first time talking with Gulran since yesterday when we went to.
Right, because when Gulran came back, he basically just came back, picked up Elizabeth, and then they went back out to that area.
Yeah, but we didn't. I didn't think we talked to Ego.
Not Ego. No, you talked to the reason I'm bringing it up is out of character. When you asked for goblins, the person had no idea if any goblins work there, and it's just strange if the owner of the company is a goblin. Maybe she's just withholding that or whatever.
Oh,
no, it's
okay.
not.
Not Assurance. Assurance is not run by a goblin. It's the company that did the security for Assurance is run by a goblin.
Wait, okay, so you didn't go back to Assurance, you went to a different place?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
This is where Gulran has been out of the loop for a lot of information. And so this would be confusing for Gulran because there's a lot to get caught.
Well, she just said we went back to Assurance. I thought she said we went back to Assurance.
I didn't realize she said it back.
No, she said she went to the security place, which you might have assumed was Insurance, but it was the company that had done the security testings on Assurance and certified that there was pretty much no way anyone could break into Assurance.
It's called the Society of Security.
Yeah, Society of Security. So we went to talk to them because we found out that Ego runs Society of Security and he's a goblin, and so there was a good chance that this was the said goblin that had installed the trapdoor and went from installation to testing because their company is testing. And we ascertained that he was said goblin that installed the trapdoor in Nico's, and now he runs Society of Security. And so we talked to him, and then we talked to Sterling, who is a halfling who did the most recent security testing on Assurance and certified that it was safe and that people couldn't break in, which obviously they did. So
did that yield anything?
Crap.
Nico seemed to remember, Ego seemed to remember Nico fondly.
So
for the most part.
He didn't really say. I don't think he really remembered him fondly. He just vaguely remembered him and said it was sad that he was broken into.
Did this conversation yield anything important? Since they said that it was impossible to break in, did you bring up that someone did break in and what happened?
Well, I mean, obviously, he was in a very bad mood. He apparently doesn't like my new friend, Taron.
Who?
Taron, he's the private investigator for Assurance.
Oh, your new lover.
The Robin
I
Hood
don't
type fellow.
know what you're talking about, but
I
wouldn't
just
go right-
oh
You two
sorry,
are
I
in
just
love?
assumed you stood there overnight or something, didn't you?
You two are in love?
What? Not me.
Not you two.
Antaeus, no. It was more of a mutual companionship for a night.
Oh, that's what the kids are saying these days.
Seems long-winded.
I'll have none of your judgment, sir.
There's no judgment. I'm just asking what your status is. But
Well,
it's
that
none
would
of
be
my
very
business.
uncharacteristic of him then.
Of me? I don't judge people. What are you talking about?
So anyway, so apparently Taron, according to Ego, Taron suspects him of everything and is always trying to accuse him of crimes.
Crimes? Like what kind?
I'm assuming like related to his past. In the past, he was a member of the Rogues Guild. Rogues Guild, or
Oh.
I don't have a name for I don't remember the name for the group, but there's a specific name for the group.
okay.
And
So-
he
Well,
typically,
that's
he typically goes to him first with questions for some reason.
a former rogue who installed a door that was then broken into and stolen. Sounds very, very coincidental.
And when I sang him my song about crime and punishment, he seemed very annoyed and uncomfortable.
You sang him a song?
Of course.
Very
Songs help everything.
It's Brianna. What do you expect? She sings and flirts. That's her like two modes of communication.
Ah, yes, that is true.
So that being said, because he seems to think that he's just being accused falsely all the time, I really would like to maybe do some further research and see if there's anything definitive we can say ties him to this, because the last thing I want to do is go say, oh, it was Ego, and then, him get off on a technicality. It's not like we've gotten a
we
positive
can't
ID.
accuse anyone without hard proof.
It could also have been somebody that he hired as well, and it seemed as if he had given tutelage to Sterling in his profession, let's say, and it could have been somebody that he had given that kind of knowledge to, and they could have used it themselves.
True, but the goblins didn't seem to think it was a halfling. Sterling's a halfling.
Something seemed off about him.
I agree.
I don't know what it is exactly. Perhaps it was the deck of cards that was very... Was it an ornate box, or was it just like a...
It was a reasonably well decorated box on his belt. Yeah.
In a strangely well decorated box.
He was kind of
presumably playing cards. I didn't get a good look at them, but it seems to fit the size and description of it.
Wait, size
Was
and
he
description
cute?
of what?
He was a very charismatic person, I suppose, but I mean, it fits the size and description of a box of playing cards. I don't know what else could have possibly been in there off the top of my head.
Why do
but
we care about a box of playing cards?
It
'Cause
stood
it's
out.
just weird to stand
It's-
out and to have on your belt a box that looks
Maybe
like it
it's
would hold
his-
playing cards.
It seems pretentious.
Sure, maybe it's his favorite deck of cards. Like, what, I don't understand what this relates to.
I
Anymore.
mean, he was
it's an
very
odd-
big on not mixing work and pleasure, so why would he have a deck of playing cards that would be like his leisure time activity
All right, well, you
on
didn't
his
mention that
person
detail.
while he's
Okay,
working?
that's more
I don't
interesting.
know definitively that there are playing cards inside, but it was the size of a box of playing cards. But it was very ornate and could have had a number of things within it. I do not know.
Hmm.
And like I said, they believed it to be a goblin, but they could not definitively identify that it was a goblin. He said that it appeared to be,
Well,
which left some sort of doubt in his
I
voice.
think our next step is to convince this goblin to submit his memory of this event, because clearly this could be a big lead. Unless you have any other leads to go on.
His memory does not seem to be impaired too much. It seems as if the information that he gave was willing and as much as he could have possibly remembered.
Yes, but you
I
said
don't know
he
how
wasn't
the
sure
memory-
what the description was, but if we have people viewing the memory, we could clearly look at it more clearly.
Steve, would we know if they view it from the same perspective as the person that
Mhm.
has the memory? But would they not see it the same way that he does?
Yes, but as I know firsthand, memories are hard to recall, so when you view them, you may get more detail. He may have forgotten some details that, if we view the memory, may offer
That is
more.
accurate. I'm not trying to disagree with you. I'm just trying to understand, because like if you were to view the eyes of somebody that was drunk, it would still see everything in the same way.
For sure, but I don't know what kind of conversation you had with this goblin, but for some reason I don't trust this man very much. So
why not?
Perhaps because these goblins are roaming around and causing trouble in the neighborhood, so it'd just be good to have an objective view of the memory instead of what he says. And he's to be submitted for further questioning anyway, so we have reason to get this goblin into the ministry anyway. So while he's there,
I suppose we could ask Maha if, they can find out more information about that.
He did seem to think that he was already going to be heading back that way one way or another anyways. I don't know if he would be willing to submit his memory, but...
Probably not, but it doesn't hurt to have more... Yeah, if there's offers that can be made in exchange or something like that with Ministry's authority,
perhaps.
Of course.
As long as it's not against his will, because that would be evil.
I didn't say against his will. I'm not saying torture the poor fool. I'm just saying he has information about a case and we need it, so...
You're right. I did not mean to imply that you said that. I just don't know in depth how they go about ascertaining said memories.
I'm pretty sure it's probably voluntary, but if it's requested as part of an investigation, I'm sure he will comply, as he's so willing to report all crimes to the ministry, so he should be a willing, good citizen.
He was willing to give us as much information as he could about the crimes he had previously seen recently.
There you go. I don't see why he wouldn't give us this memory then.
All right.
What's that, Elizabeth? Speak up.
Should we go talk to him and see if he'd be willing to comply? Does that not seem like the courteous thing to do?
He's
not under arrest, is he?
I mean, I don't think they're under arrest, but the ministry specifically told me that they would be trying to get in touch with them to bring them in for further questioning, so... I mean, I'm already on thin ice with Maha. I don't want to go there and bring them in under... We don't have orders to do that.
Understandable. We could always go back to that area and see if they're still in that...
I think it would be best if I avoid that area until the questioning takes place.
I think
I don't want to be caught in a scuffle.
I think the best course of action would be to go to Maha and let her know that we've heard from some eyewitnesses that potentially it was a goblin, and explain that situation and see if, see what she wants us to do from there.
How willing would they, or how likely would it be for them to forcibly or put them in a position where they would kind of be forced to give up?
There has to be a substantial
memories.
amount of evidence for them to be obligated to do that.
Okay, so it doesn't seem likely in this scenario that they would force them to give up memories against their will or anything like that.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Okay.
That seems fair.
I was thinking that maybe for their part in the whole Goron incident, maybe if they had a lighter, punishment or whatever, that they would be willing to give up that memory. Kind of like a plea deal.
Let's have you guys stew on this for a little while and wrap up for tonight.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass out some of that good XP. Okay, I'll pass out that good Mind Flayer as well.
Round 3.
No, round 4.
Oh, round 4.
Yeah. So for tonight, I was rather entertained. Everybody can go ahead and take 1,000 XP. You guys made great progress on the case. You guys had a lot of really great interactions with the characters, and I always appreciate the good recap. We'll give Ghoulron credit for the recap, just to be fair across the board.
Wait, how much experience?
1,000.
Nice. That puts us at like 2,500, or that puts me at 2,500, I believe.
Everybody should be around the same XP, roughly.
Yeah, shouldn't we be at the same?
I'm at 4,400.
Yeah,
I'm at 4,400 as well.
That's a bit of a difference.
Wait, we started at second level, right?
Yeah. Do you not have
Yes.
your
Second
Well, it
level.
says, yeah, you
level?
started when we leveled up, I think.
Second level is what's the minimum?
That would have been
3.
2,000.
2000.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I should be at 35. My bad.
Okay.
Because I had it at I was at
Everybody else
1500.
is at what? I want to try to.
44.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
let's
all at 44.
Yeah.
let's just go to 4,400. Everybody should be. This isn't like conscripted where there's different.
Okay.
There's a need for people to be at different XP levels. So let's try to keep them all on about the same.
Mm.
And the
Yeah,
idea
no,
is
I
that
just-
everybody will participate in the recap when we do the recap.
Yeah, I realized as we were doing that I had written down the wrong. I had written down level 1 instead of level 2, so I was only
Gotcha.
at 1,000 instead of 2,000.
Okay.
So
So yeah, that'll wrap us up for the game for this evening. I'll roll us out of the stream. So good night, everybody. Thanks y'all for watching, and we'll be back soon. Tomorrow for Conscripted, obviously.
Hell
Good night.
yeah.
I won't